Montoya has been criticized for how he acts in the driver's seat. Another driver is trying to work his way back into his seat at the top level. J.J. Yeley literally has put his neck on the line to try and get a regular ride in the Cup Series. America loves a comeback story, and J.J. is working on his.
Succession of bad luck for J.J. Yeley.
For me to look back at my racing career, it's been a tough one. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. Had to go back and almost rebuild my racing career.
Whitney Motorsports is a small team in the grand scheme of NASCAR. Its driver finds himself in the humbling predicament of trying to find his way back to the big show. But surviving racing's roller coaster has kept J.J. Yeley humble, even at the race shop.
Good. He can cancel my portion of the hotel rooms.
Okay.
And wherever they had the rooms at.
Okay.
I'm going to stay with my parents.
Okay. And you didn't tell me your name, so I'm not sure.
J.J. Yeley, I'm the driver.
Okay.
That was rough. Tucker, where you going, buddy? Huh? I haven't seen you in almost a week. I get no hugs. Ultimately, the entire group at Whitney Motorsports, they want to race. There's, 6 guys that work in the shop, and all those guys are at the racetrack whenever we're racing. So, if we tear up a race car, we might not be able to come back next week. For the time being, we have to be smart about everything we do. And, I think once people realize how small this team really is, what we're working with, there'd be a lot of people that's going to be impressed.
Yeley was once the highly touted replacement for Bobby Labonte. The young open-wheel phenom carried high expectations.
I was taking over from Bobby Labonte, who had won championships, won races, and I think, it escalated the timeline for what Joe Gibbs Racing had for me.
Oh, we got trouble, AB. J.J. Yeley trying to hang on to it. Trouble on turn number 2. It's J.J. Yeley around. Oh, 18 hard in the wall. Oh, big crash, 18. J.J. Yeley, he pounds the wall and does some heavy damage.
Taking over the former champion's car at Joe Gibbs Racing resulted in inconsistent performance through 2 Cup seasons. At the start of 2006, Yeley was in. By the end of 2007, he was out.
I hadn't probably performed up to expectations, as well as there was some things on my end that I didn't think were done properly either. Seeing the people and the changes that happened after I left were just a little bit disappointing, because these were things those were steps that were never taken while I was there. They were just immediate steps for the next guy.
Before NASCAR, Yeley was a short track champion. After NASCAR, he returned to USAC Racing, but the search for a breakthrough left him broken.
It was like a severe whiplash, so it pushed my head forward and to the left. So it took my C4 and C5 vertebra and perched them. So they virtually went from being hooked like this to untipped. When I was in the hospital and they were, saying, another 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch, she could have easily been paralyzed, was kind of an eye-opener.
Yeley remains hopeful for another stay in NASCAR, but hope now takes the form of family. A fresh perspective feeds his patient outlook that a big-time ride will again be his.
J.J. Yeley, nice enough to join us here at the Tech Center with Randy, and thanks for dropping by. At age 33, you've already been through a lot. Do you ever think about just, giving up, moving on to something else?
I'm way too competitive to just give up. That'd be no fun to give up. That's not what being a race car driver is all about, and that's all I've ever been in my life, and that's all I plan on being.
We touched on that in that piece after that wreck that you had in the open wheel car. How did that change your perspective, and will you still have the desire to get in there and bury it in the corner after something like that happens to you?
Well, absolutely. It's as a race car driver, you don't think about the consequences of what you're doing. You don't think about getting hurt. It's just second nature. So, even after I was in the accident, I've been in a lot of accidents. Thankfully, I've never been hurt badly, but it was enough for me to say, wow, this is something I got to take a step back and look at. That I went to go race that race just because I had nothing going on that weekend. Obviously I want to still compete in whatever I can, but I had an off weekend, thought I would go race and try to win a big race, and obviously went bad.
Well, how would you explain the start and park process for fans who watch racing?
It's something that the owners are forced to do. These guys want to go racing. They don't have the sponsorship dollars to run an entire race, and it just costs money.
So they just get out, they get into the race, but they really have no chance of winning it. They run a few laps, pull aside.
Well, they're going to be tough. I mean, they're going to be able to compete. They're going to be a top 20 team if they were able to run the entire race. But it costs 100,000 plus to run an entire race, and the winnings for the purse for starting last are only 70,000. So you're already in the hole without sponsorship dollars. So you have to have a little bit of help in order to even try to run and compete at the whole race.
Well, good luck on the comeback. All right, and we'll see you at Watkins Glen. And thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
J.J. Yeley. Well, this week the tour.